Buckle up, football fans. It's time now for Toyota Talks. Hey, if the playoffs were to start this weekend, Bears would be the NFC's number 3 seed. They would host the Packers at Soldier Field in the wild card round. But lots of jockeying in the playoff standings, so things will change between now and the start of the postseason. Till then, I want all those Bears fans out there to enjoy. Yeah, the Bears with the number 3 seed as we speak. Let's bring in Adam Hoge from CHGO. Does a great job of covering the Bears. He's at Hallis Hall after some of the Bears and Ben Johnson have spoken to the media. Hey, always nice to have you on. I just want to know, are you keeping guys like Lance Briggs, Jerry Azuma, and Corey Wooten in line?
We're trying, Lou. It's just good. I think it's good for all of us, including those guys, former players, to be talking about a team that's back in the thick of things against teams like the Pittsburgh Steelers this week, the Philadelphia Eagles next week, as we're deep into November, going into December with meaningful football games again. It's just, I think it's good for all of us.
Hey, I've been watching you and Wooten on CHGO. Corey used to be here helping us out with our post-game shows. Man, I love his energy. The guy is such a fan, and I know Jerry and Lance are as well. You guys do a great job of covering the Bears at CHGO. I'm not even mentioning Mark's name. I'm sorry, I'm just not. I want to know, Adam, did you have the Bears leading the NFC North sitting in the 3 seed entering Week 12?
Well, I don't know how it all worked out, if they'd be in first place or not. I will say, Lou, believe it or not, I had this team starting 8-3. So they're on track.
Nice.
If they win this game this week. I did have them starting 8-3. Now, the bad news is I also had them finishing 2-4 in their last 6. Finishing with 10 wins still. The schedule gets tougher here, and I do think expectations change as the season goes along. Now you see what this Bears team is. I mean, all of these games the rest of the way are going to be tough, and I'm including the Browns in that too because they have a guy named Myles Garrett who can wreck a game just like Max Crosby tried to do against the Bears earlier this season when the Bears were in Vegas. So none of these are gimmies at all. On the other hand, they're all winnable. The Bears, the way they're playing with what they have, and I think they're continuing to get better as the season goes along. These games are all winnable, too, so it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. But so far, they're on track.
Yeah, you know what, Adam? It's funny. I look at the standings, and there are the Bears, Colts, Patriots, Broncos leading their divisions, and you're like, wait a second, where are the Lions and Chiefs? Oh, man, they're not even in the postseason if the playoffs were to start today. I want to talk about Caleb Williams. I know he talked to the media today. This guy missed some guys downfield again Sunday at Minnesota. Inaccuracy, again, an issue. It's his first year in this offense, and I've resigned myself to believe that we are going to get this type of play from Caleb Williams the rest of the season. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think, first of all, even if you look at the top quarterbacks in the league, they're going to have some missed throws, especially downfield. I think... now, ideally, though, when you're coaching this up and you're scheming it up, you'd like to have at least one of those 2 third downs, and especially the second one where DJ Moore came open. And, I didn't think the footwork was necessarily perfect. He's in shotgun, still dropping back 7 snaps, and he just something looked off there when he let go of that football. Those types of moments are going to happen really for any quarterback, but especially a young quarterback who, yes, is still trying to figure out the ins and outs of this offense. And you also got to keep in mind who they're playing. And Brian Flores, that Minnesota Vikings defense, is always keeping you on your toes. Nothing ever looks the same throughout the entire game when you're playing that team. So in some ways, are those excuses? Yeah, they are. But I think sometimes some excuses are fair. The question is, can you keep getting better? And we are seeing areas of progress, especially when it comes to the pre-snap stuff. Especially just overall command of the offense before the snap. And, I think the cool thing, too, is on any given play, even when you have a fumbled handoff that goes backwards and now you're in 2nd and 25, well, guess what? The next play, he rips one, a great throw to Rome Odunze, picks up 24 yards. They get right back on schedule. So that's what you live with a young, talented quarterback. It's not all going to be perfect. The question is, what does it all look like at the end of the season and, of course, going into year 3 next year for him?
And let's not forget, Man, the guy is avoiding sacks, turnovers, keeping this team in position to win each and every week. All right, I had former Bears snapper, a guy that you know well, Pat Manley, on the show Monday. He and I agreed on the Bears MVP up till this point. Take a stab at who you think we picked, and who would you pick?
Was it Joe Thuney?
You're close, man. Very good. We actually picked the entire offensive line. Nice work.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, it is something, going back to what we were just talking about a few minutes ago, just about it being refreshing that the Bears are back in, playing meaningful games in November. It's the style of which they're playing, too. Is it perfect on offense? No. I mean, I think there's a lot of different areas you can still clean up, especially when it comes to catching the football. But up front, just look at the way the game ended in Minnesota, right? It's third down. They got to pick up more yards to make it a more comfortable field goal. I think most people are probably thinking they're going to throw it there. Not Ben Johnson. He leans on his offensive line to run a bread and butter run play, and they pick up enough yards to make a manageable field goal for Cairo Santos. That's having trust in those old linemen up front. I think it's been really refreshing to see the way that those guys have come along, started to gel a little bit. There is a rhythm to the run game and how these guys block up front together, especially when it comes to combination blocks. I still think there's moments where it could be better, but just this sort of physical smash mouth football, I'm really enjoying watching it, whether it's live or later when we're going through the tape after these games. It's really, honestly, it's really fun to watch.
And it's one of the big reasons why they're, second in the NFL in rushing right now. All right, I'm going to put you on the spot. Big talk on Sports Talk today, yesterday. Do you want Aaron Rodgers to play in this game Sunday, or would you rather see Mason Rudolph out there giving the Bears a better chance to win number 8?
So I guess I'll give you the more nostalgic answer. Yes, I would like to see Aaron Rodgers out there again. I guess it's part of the amount of games that I've covered between him facing the Bears, all those Bears and Packers games. Most of them obviously went the Packers' way. I'm all about storylines too, so I think it's a more entertaining game that way. And honestly, I don't, maybe I'll eat these words. I don't know that it changes the dynamic of the game too much. He's already playing a different style than he had been certainly in the prime of his career. He does not like to get hit at all. That's why he's getting rid of the football so quickly. And now you think about the fact that he could have a wrist that could potentially get hurt worse if he takes a hit the wrong way. I think he's going to be super careful if he's playing on Sunday. And maybe that works to the Bears' advantage a little bit in kind of knowing how he's going to play. Obviously, it's a tough task. It's a tougher task than if you're facing Mason Rudolph. But Mason Rudolph's played a lot of football in this league, too, as the backup. So they're certainly going to be a team that's prepared and not shocked if their starter can't go, because they know Mason Rudolph really well.
And they have not had an easy time with backup quarterbacks this year. What worries you about the Steelers?
Yeah. Well, I think the first thing you got to look at is those edge rushers. And a couple former Badgers and T.J. Watt, Nick Herbig, they certainly get after the quarterback. Their pressure packages aren't going to be quite as exotic as what the Bears faced against the Vikings last week, but I think the talent level is actually tougher. So, it comes down to one-on-ones up front, that offensive line we were just talking about, that you guys called the MVP. To me, that's an area of this game on Sunday that'll really go a long way in deciding it. How much, and again, I think a lot of it has to do with Theo Benedict, who's holding his own out there, but also having a handful of snaps every game where he requires a little extra help. You saw last week Ben Johnson asking his tight ends to block Dallas Turner, a young edge rusher, one-on-one a lot. I don't know if you can get away with that against T.J. Watt. You know what I mean? So it's going to be a tougher test. And I think Ben Johnson called them werewolves today. It was an interesting description, but those guys are really tough. You got to find a way to stop them, or it's going to be a long day for Caleb Williams.
All right, Adam, before I let you go, I need to ask you this question because I'm asking all my guests on the show. Where, in Adam Hoge's opinion, are the Bears on the playoff meter? 0 to 100%. Where are you?
So I know the odds makers have them at 56%. I'll up that a little bit more because I think 10 wins is very realistic at this point with how I think this team's going to be trending up. But, you know, you might need to get 11 technically to totally feel comfortable about getting in. So I don't know. I'm going to go a little bit higher than the odds makers. I'll say let's go like 65% at this point, and we'll see what it looks like. I'd just like to see, I think we'd all like to see a little bit more of a convincing win. They've been up in some of these games and then let the other team back in. Let's see if they can start putting some of these teams away in the third and early fourth quarter, and then that way it doesn't have to come down to the final 2 minutes like it has 5 times this season.
Danny Parkins, Pat Manley, and now Adam Hoge, all with the Bears at 65% chance to get in. That a boy, I love it. I'm with you,
all
man.
All of us?
All of you guys, exactly at 65%. Hey, Adam, thank you for the back and forth. I know you're a busy guy out there at Hallis Hall. Appreciate the time, and we'll be following you on CHGO, all right?
Thanks, Lou. Always appreciate it.